Today's story unfolds in Goa, India's paradise of sunlit beaches and tranquil escapes. But on a fateful day in room 404 of Hotel Sol Banyan Grande, that serenity turned into a chilling nightmare. What began as a routine cleaning spiraled into horror when staff discovered bloodstains on the bed and towels, alongside 2 empty bottles of medication. Alarm bells rang and the police were called. A quick glance at the room and the CCTV footage confirmed their fears. Something sinister had transpired. What followed was a police operation spanning 2 states, unraveling dark secrets no one could have imagined. To uncover the true horror of room 404, we must turn back time to where it all began. Bengaluru, India's Silicon Valley, is where Venkat Raman's story of brilliance and ambition began. A scholarship to one of India's top engineering colleges and a master's in artificial intelligence from MIT cemented his place as a rising star in tech. Returning to Bengaluru to make his mark in AI, Venkat met Suchana Seth at a networking event, an equally brilliant woman. Suchana held degrees in physics and AI ethics, with a fellowship at Harvard's Berkman Klein Center. Her groundbreaking work in AI ethics earned her recognition on Forbes India's 30 Under 30 and the top 100 women in AI ethics list in 2021. Their shared ambition and love for innovation sparked an instant connection, leading to their marriage in 2010. It seemed like the perfect partnership to redefine AI in India. The years after their 2010 marriage were marked by unparalleled success. Venkat excelled in artificial intelligence, becoming a leading figure in India's tech world, while Suchana gained international acclaim for her work in AI ethics and policy. On the surface, their partnership appeared perfect, a union of brilliance and ambition. Year 2019 was remarkable for the power couple, as it marked both a professional and personal milestone in their lives. They co-founded Mindful AI Lab, a startup aiming to revolutionize artificial intelligence by embedding ethical principles. But the excitement of launching a startup wasn't the only life-changing event for the couple in 2019, as they also welcomed their first child, a son they named Arav. The birth of their child should have brought them closer, but instead, it added another layer of complexity to their already strained relationship. Balancing the demands of a high-pressure startup with the responsibilities of new parenthood only intensified the cracks that had been quietly forming in their marriage. While their public image was one of perfection, the reality behind closed doors was far from it. Late nights spent arguing over company decisions and the challenges of raising a child in a high-stress environment began to take their toll. Though they celebrated remarkable achievements, it was clear their personal lives were far from harmonious. And as their company soared to new heights, their personal relationship continued to deteriorate, setting the stage for a series of events that would ultimately shatter everything they had built. As their startup gained momentum, COVID-19 pandemic brought the world to a halt. For Venkat Raman and Suchana Seth, the lockdowns amplified cracks in their fragile marriage, as confinement and unresolved personal and professional tensions pushed their relationship to a breaking point. In the same year, Venkat made a surprising decision. He stepped down from Mindful AI Lab, leaving the company entirely in Suchana's hands. She took over as the CEO, steering the startup through one of the most challenging periods. To the outside world, this seemed like a strategic move, but those close to the couple knew it was the culmination of escalating disagreements between them. By mid-2020, things had spiraled beyond repair. The fights became so intense and unrelenting that they decided to separate. Shortly after, Suchana filed for divorce. It was during this time that she also filed a domestic abuse report, claiming that Venkat had been physically and emotionally abusive during her pregnancy. She submitted text messages, video recordings, and medical documents as evidence to support her claims in court. The court's ruling came swiftly. It ordered Venkat to stay away from Suchana and granted her sole custody of their son, Arav. The decision barred Venkat from seeing his child, a restriction that devastated him deeply and added fuel to his frustrations. To make matters worse, Suchana demanded alimony of 2 lakh Indian rupees per month. These events marked a significant turning point in both their lives. The separation wasn't just a matter of leaving a marriage. It unleashed a series of emotional, financial, and legal battles that left scars on both sides. And while Suchana appeared to come out of the situation stronger, as the CEO of a thriving startup and sole guardian of her child, the story was far from over. The simmering animosity between the two would set the stage for something far darker, a tragedy that no one could have anticipated. For Venkat, being unable to see his son, Arav, was a torment he couldn't endure. While he had no objection to paying the alimony ordered by the court, the ruling that denied him visitation rights felt like a punishment too severe. Unwilling to accept it, Venkat filed a legal case seeking permission to meet his son. Thus began another round of courtroom battles between the estranged couple. After a lengthy legal wrangling, the court finally ruled in Venkat's favor, granting him visitation rights. But the decision was met with fierce resistance from Suchana. She immediately filed another motion, arguing that Venkat's alleged history of violent outbursts posed a threat to Arav. She claimed that her fears for her son's safety were rooted in the abuse she had endured during their marriage and pointed to the evidence she had previously submitted to the court. The court acknowledged Suchana's concerns, but also emphasized that Arav had a right to maintain a relationship with his biological father. As a compromise, the court issued a revised ruling. Venkat would be allowed to see his son once a week, on Sundays, but under strict conditions. Suchana would be present during the visits, acting as a chaperone from a distance. To outsiders, the court's arrangement seemed fair, but to Suchana, it was infuriating. Allowing Venkat to see his son felt like losing a battle. It reached a point where it was no longer about what was best for her son, but about winning against Venkat. In December 2023, Venkat was supposed to start visiting Arav, but Suchana stopped him every Sunday, making excuses, preventing Venkat from seeing their son, which went on for 4 weeks in a row. By the end of the month, Venkat had had enough. He warned Suchana that if she denied him access one more time, he would take her back to court. On January 6, 2024, a day before Venkat's next scheduled visit, Suchana made an abrupt decision. She planned a trip to Goa with Arav and booked a stay at the luxurious Sol Banyan Grande Hotel from January 6th to January 10th, reserving room 404. For the first 2 days, Suchana and her 4-year-old son explored the vibrant streets and serene beaches of Goa. Although she had planned to stay in Goa until January 10th, the night of January 7th saw a sudden change of plans. Around midnight, Suchana approached the hotel reception and asked them to arrange a taxi to take her back to Bengaluru. Her request struck the staff as peculiar. They advised her that flying would be faster, more economical, and safer than a 10 to 12-hour road journey. But Suchana ignored their suggestions. Insistent on leaving immediately, she demanded a taxi. The hotel staff called Roy John D'Souza, a seasoned driver who often worked night shifts. However, when Roy learned that the trip would take over 10 hours, he hesitated. To make the journey, he demanded 30,000 rupees and requested to bring along a co-driver to share the drive if needed. To everyone's surprise, Suchana readily agreed. At around 1 a.m., Suchana checked out of the Sol Banyan Grande Hotel with her luggage loaded into the taxi. Her demeanor was distant. She barely spoke, staring out into the darkness as the journey began. Roy D'Souza, the taxi driver, couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that something was amiss. A few hours into their journey, they encountered a massive traffic block caused by a toppled truck, halting all movement on the only available road. Frustrated, Roy stepped out to gather information and learned it could take up to 5 to 7 hours before the road was cleared. When Roy returned to the car, he suggested they turn back and head to the nearest airport, offering to charge her only partially for the ride. However, Suchana flatly refused, insisting on continuing by road no matter how long it took. Roy found her insistence odd, but didn't press further. Meanwhile, back at the Sol Banyan Grande Hotel, the cleaning staff entered room 404 early on January 8th to find a horrifying scene. Bloodstains on the sheets and towels shocked them, prompting an immediate call to the manager. The Goa police were summoned, and they discovered more troubling details: 2 empty bottles of cough syrup, a broken cup, and a chilling discrepancy in the CCTV footage. Suchana had checked in with her 4-year-old son, Arav, but left the hotel alone. The police wasted no time. Tracing her movements, they contacted the taxi driver, Roy, using information provided by the hotel. Roy confirmed that Suchana was still in the taxi, stuck in the traffic block, but nearing its end. When asked to hand the phone to Suchana and inquiring about her son's whereabouts, she calmly claimed her son was safe with relatives in Goa and provided an address. However, when officers rushed to the location, they discovered it was a false lead. Arav wasn't there. By this time, the traffic had cleared and the taxi had crossed the state line, nearing the city of Chitradurga. Roy's phone went off one more time. He picked up. It was Goa police. This time speaking in Konkani, a language Suchana didn't understand. They instructed him to drive to the police station. Thinking quickly, Roy searched for nearby stations and found Imangala police station just 5 minutes away. He turned to his co-driver, explaining the situation in Konkani. To buy time, Roy told Suchana they needed to stop so his friend could use the restroom. When the taxi pulled up in front of Imangala police station, Suchana displayed no signs of alarm. Inside, the officers, already briefed by Goa police, swiftly detained her, but nothing could prepare them for what they found next. Upon opening one of her suitcases, they were met with a gruesome sight. Inside, they found Arav's lifeless body, bent unnaturally, his face swollen and lips blue. The discovery sent shockwaves through the police force. Suchana was taken into custody and handed over to Goa police along with Arav's body. However, questioning Suchana proved challenging. She was evasive and misleading, repeatedly denying any involvement in her son's death. In their statements, Goa police described her as highly intelligent and noted that she was showing no remorse for what she had done. The chilling mystery deepened, leaving investigators grappling with the motives behind this unthinkable act. All the evidence pointed squarely at Suchana, from the physical clues left behind to the chilling note found in her belongings. According to the police, after a day of exploring Goa with her son on January 7th, Suchana retrieved 2 bottles of cough syrup from the hotel reception. Later that night, she made her son drink both bottles. Once Arav was rendered unconscious by the overdose, she smothered him with a pillow. The innocent 4-year-old, weakened by the cough syrup, stood no chance against the act. Yet the presence of blood in the hotel room puzzled investigators. Where did the blood come from? The answer to that was in her note. A part of the note read as following: "If he cannot be with me, he cannot be with you." After smothering her son, Suchana tried to slit her wrist, but it turned out taking your own life wasn't as easy as taking someone else's. She abandoned the attempt. Instead, she decided to take her son's lifeless body to Bengaluru, intending to dispose of it there and cover up her actions. The note also showed her mindset, her final justification for taking Arav's life, ensuring Venkat would never have custody of him. Thanks to taxi driver Roy D'Souza's sharp instincts and a traffic block that delayed her journey, authorities intercepted Suchana just in time. Had she reached Bengaluru, recovering Arav's body and uncovering the truth might have been impossible, making justice for Arav much harder to achieve. The tragic case of Suchana Seth serves as a chilling reminder that even the most brilliant minds can fall prey to darkness when unchecked emotions take over. The sheer contrast between her intellectual prowess and the unthinkable act of taking her own child's life leaves one grappling with disbelief. It underscores the devastating impact unresolved conflicts, suppressed emotions, and untreated mental health issues can have, not just on individuals, but on those around them. That is it for today. Please share your thought in the comment section. Check out our other equally shocking videos. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant.